Hey, welcome back to Stories of Dave. A little bit different context today. It's getting boring just reading stuff, so I thought I'd take a little break, maybe just ramble, talk about some whys and wherefores. You can watch me cook some banana bread in the process in my tiny ass kitchen. So yeah, if you're still hanging in there, if you're listening along, thank you. I really mean that. I couldn't feel more awkward than doing this. I'm not used to doing it. I suppose that's good practice for if I should ever actually have to get up and read someday. But I haven't done a lot of public speaking since graduate school, so it's a little bit, I don't know, it's weird. It's not really me, but that's okay. I'm willing to stretch and grow. That's what it's all about, right? So, yeah, Hokey Pokey. Well, gosh, where do I start? That started as a blog when I was in grad school back in the late 90s. There was a site called Sweet 101. Some of you may remember it. English majors, English junkies hung out there a lot. And so it started there as a bunch of stories called the Hanky Panky Chronicles about these characters who'd come into this adult toy store that I worked at, which is pretty much exactly like the one that I've described in the book. So the experiences are all drawn from those years. And really, I just needed a way. I struggled for years to find a through line, that I could use to tell a bunch of essentially just funny anecdotes that happened in and around an adult store in the buckle of the Bible Belt. If you think about it, there are a few more interesting lenses through which to look at a community, particularly, small town community that tends to be, a little bit, maybe up each other's butt, for lack of a better word or a better phrase. And there's always great humor in that. I could have set this story in any small rural community in any country in the world where people tend to be dogmatic about their faith and maybe take themselves a little bit too seriously, and to the extent that washes over into the ridiculous. So I really just wanted to tell some of those stories, a lot of which we haven't gotten to yet, but a lot of the weirdest stuff in the book is straight up true story stuff. There's an old English guy who comes into the shop one night in search of material having to do with women lactating. It was a true story. It was really bizarre. Just came in out of nowhere. British accent, looked like Albert or Alfred from the Batman series. And he sounded like him too, and he had a London fog on. Really kind of set me back a little bit. I was telling this story years later to my in-laws. I was describing this scene to them. And we were all horrified to realize that this was a friend of theirs from church. So it just goes to show you, truth is stranger than fiction, or at least it can be. So I needed a way to string those anecdotes together, and then eventually became Hokey Pokey. I thought, well, I'll just write about the store opening. The store will be the main character. So, I'm telling it from this kind of countrified voice, thinking Uncle Jesse from the Dukes of Hazzard, but maybe a little tweaked up and with a little more education. And that's the story behind it. I hope you're enjoying it. When I got it together, this wasn't a serious piece that I was working on, but it was one that I always wanted to do. And truth be told, I always fantasized it would be a book that I would write at some point in my retirement. It was one of those kind of look back through gilded lenses at a time that was actually a lot weirder than the book would suggest. So at any rate, it is, it's a comedy, and I also wanted to say, not by way of apology, but because I don't believe in apologizing for my work, but I will explain it. And it seems that I'm maybe a little, I don't know, unduly rough on the American rural South, but it's where my people are from. So a lot of the characters in this are drawn directly from my own family. And in this age particularly, I felt like, well, um, to be a humorist is really kind of a long road to hoe because nobody anymore, you don't have a license to make a joke about anyone outside of your own direct tribal group, which is ridiculous. Um, but I thought, well, I can't honor that. I'm going to make fun of whoever I please and whoever's begging for it. But I might as well start at home with my own kin and by way of good faith down payment. I'm willing to make fun of my own people um, and take a look at their foibles and their shortcomings and exploit those for a little bit of a laugh, albeit hopefully a loving laugh. I don't write anything hatefully, or I try not to, at any rate. But, so that's the story behind that. Let's see what else. I'm gonna do a video here soon about what it's like to self-publish. And I don't know if you're interested, if you're a writer, whether it's the decision for you and what the steps are and what it looks like, what it means, all that good stuff. So that's all I'll say about that right now, or I'll start getting into it. I'm making banana bread right here. I cook almost entirely from the hip, which when it comes to baking, it can really get you in trouble, but it can also lead to some pretty happy surprises. I'm hoping for one of those today. Gonna do a banana bread with like a walnut, pecan, brown sugar swirl. Just occurred to me with kind of horror that I don't have any raisins, but I'll make do. So anyway, thanks for joining me today for a little bit of I think if there's anything else I should mention while I'm being all informal, while I don't have my writer's coat on. Again, I really appreciate the few of you who've been kind of checking in, and think you, for all I know, you could all be different people, and you just glanced once and never came back. But if you've come back and you're looking at it some more, again, thank you. I really appreciate the support. That's that's all you get in this particular form. The the hoorays are hard won and far between, and that's just the nature of the beast. That's what writing is about. It's not like painting or music or something that you kind of do performatively and get instant feedback. So I get terribly self-conscious about it, and for the life of me can't understand why anyone would want to sit and hear some of my dumb stories from Tennessee. Just being honest, not trying to be overly self-deprecating. That's just kind of, I think that's kind of universal to writers. I could be wrong. But that said, that just makes me appreciate all the much more people who stop by and have a look. So thank you. I've got a short story coming out in print sometime soon called The Invasion Summer, which I'm really proud of. A little bit of a nod to Ray Bradbury. And I can't wait to read it and post a link. And in the meantime, I'll be preparing some other short fiction to dive into also that I've published in the past. Maybe not read the whole thing, but maybe read some passages and wax philosophic or something about it. Anyway, till then, be well. See you soon.